Hi everybody, Jack Willard here. Our video, Explosive Bob Joyce Information, or subtitle, Part 3 of the Top 50 Reasons Why Bob Joyce May Be Elvis. Despite a lot of coincidences, if you want to call them that, I speak of possibilities. We could be wrong about the whole thing. Don't miss any of this one. You'll want to hear it. And be sure to watch part 1 and part 2 of the top 50 reasons Bob Joyce may be Elvis. In part 4, we'll do the final 20, all right? But I'm trying to be respectful of your time and give it to you a little bit at a time. It is a wild story. To me, the greatest entertainment story never told by the mainstream media. So let's get right into it. Number 30, the two Bob Joyce theory. I've been talking about this since we began the topic in 2018. Is the Germany girlfriend of soldier Elvis Presley Pastor Bob Joyce's partner since at least 2010? Willina. It's a complicated little tale. Here we see young soldier Robert Wayne Joyce. And then we see an older picture of Robert Wayne Joyce. The writing you can't see from JJB says the biological father of Matthew and Sabrina. Pastor Bob Joyce, who's been preaching since 2011 on YouTube, says he served in the army in Germany. That's what numerous sources have told me. I have not seen that particular sermon. I have not found that particular sermon. But there you go. So, a close-up picture of a young Robert Wayne Joyce and Willina Hattie set to be married, and we saw the marriage certificate in 1975 in the state of Texas. Here they are, right here. Here they are. And then we see the Germany girlfriend of soldier Elvis Presley from the 60s. We see the Germany girlfriend. Now here it looks like she may be just another fan who is getting an autograph, but they were together many times. This was Elvis's girlfriend for a time in Germany. We're almost positive of that. Down there we see Pastor Bob Joyce with Willina Joyce. But we can do better than that. First of all, here's one more shot of Soldier Presley with his Germany girlfriend. Then we see Pastor Bob with Willina today and some very rich people at Mar-a-Lago. Look at his face. Who does he look like to you? Who does he look like to you? So you have to ask yourself if this man here the younger days of Robert Wayne Joyce transformed into this man here. Whether it be the middle shot or the picture of Pastor Bob looking rugged and handsome there, but also looking his age. Pastor Bob looks different. Depends on the lighting, depends on whether he uses anything to kind of smooth out the lines a little bit. Does he look like he could possibly be 89 years old there? Well, people that meet him all the time, including people that have a healthcare degree, people that deal with the elderly, and they have hugged him, they say, yes, he could be 89 years old. But these are just their opinions, and that's what we give here. We just give opinions. So the two Bob Joyce theory, which I started in 2018, and we have plenty of other pictures. Watch The Verdict, and I'm going to point you to another video in a minute or two as we go down our list. But we have many other pictures, and to be honest with you, I have a video entitled "A Barrel Full of Bob Joyces." Watch that video, because it's really more than two. But there's Robert Wayne Joyce and there's the pastor Bob Joyce, in my personal opinion. Two people, only one you see on camera ever, and that is the man we see every week, Pastor Bob Joyce. We tell stories about people that have seen two at the church. One was a story about seeing who they believed would be most likely Robert Wayne Joyce in the foyer of the church. But he was hastily leaving. And then seconds later, they saw coming in another door, Pastor Bob Joyce. We see another couple visiting the church from far away. They went to Sunday morning service with Pastor Bob. That day there was going to be a luncheon. The man who appeared at the luncheon, although he had the same look, the same Kenny Rogers look, and looked somewhat like Pastor Bob Joyce, it was a different man, but it was a man they all seemed to know very well. That was what the source told me. Unconfirmed. That was what the source told me. So the two Pastor Bob Joyce theory, which we explore on various videos on this channel, is fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. Number 29, Pastor Bob Joyce's recording of He Hideth My Soul. Now, not the updated version on his wonderful CD, Safely Home, which I encourage you to purchase. Just go to bobjoyce.org, bobjoyce.org. That's an updated, more modern version of He Hideth My Soul. But the one that you will hear on my video, Elvis Evidence in Rapid Fire, at the end of the video, I play a portion of He Hideth My Soul. To me, that is 99% certain that is a young Elvis Presley. You can't put up someone else's song, put your name on it, although they seem to be able to do that in other respects in the creative field. Can't do that. You will be sued for copyright. So that is one of those aha moments for me. I know the sound of Elvis Presley's young voice, and I heard it on He Hideth My Soul, the original recording with the name Bob Joyce on it. Number 28, famous people show up at Household of Faith, it appears. They include a member of the Sweet Inspirations. You sent me that. That's one of Elvis's backup singers. Just last Sunday, Sir Earl Toon from Kool and the Gang. That's probably a Gene Ho connection, though. He knew him. Gene Ho traveled around and met a lot of famous people. Of course, our 47th president to come, Donald Trump, is the person he knows the best. He was his campaign photographer, wrote a book on President Trump. And you can go to georgemagazine.com and get the information on that. Pianist Glenn Hardin is said by many to have been there, and I don't doubt that. But he kind of looks like the former, I don't think he's doing it anymore, the former bass guitarist, Joe, who had bib overalls on, and Gene plays the piano, which of course is what Pastor Bob plays. So if Glenn Hardin came to Household of Faith, Pastor Bob would sit back and relax and enjoy Glenn. If I said Gene, I ask for your forgiveness. Glenn Hardin. Now, one Sunday, a man dressed up as Rod Stewart did show up. He sat in the front row, and at the end of the service, after prayer, Pastor Bob stood in front of him as the young man looked directly in Pastor Bob Joyce's eyes. I mean, he was decked out with the spiky hair, and he had on a beautiful gold, I think the whole suit was gold. And Pastor Bob focused on the jacket and said, this could have been one of our top 50 reasons why Bob Joyce may be Elvis. He looked at the jacket and said, I'm going to remember you. I had a gold jacket once. Yes, and in 1957, Elvis did an entire concert with black pants, white socks, I think, black shoes, and a beautiful gold jacket, white shirt. In fact, he wore a gold jacket on more than one occasion back then. Probably the same one. Yeah, he did. People say, well, that was Rod Stewart. No, much younger. Maybe Rod Stewart's son, but he didn't look that much like Rod Stewart. People say it was Barry Manilow. It doesn't look anything like Barry Manilow. They say, well, if it's not Barry Manilow, then it was Barry Manilow's son. Son of, you know. But Barry Manilow and his husband don't have any children. Just saying. Number 27 in the top 50 reasons why Bob Joyce may be Elvis. And remember, some explosive stuff coming, I think, that we have not really covered before, so don't go away. Number 27, Pastor Bob and Willena Joyce were invited to Mar-a-Lago. It was a charity event. How they got in there, I'm not sure. Pastor Bob and Willena were rubbing shoulders with billionaires. Gavin Nunes, who now runs Truth Social, the former politician, was there, and all of them had their picture snapped with Pastor Bob. Pastor Bob led prayer at the dinner and spoke a little bit. A pastor from Benton, Arkansas, down in West Palm at Mar-a-Lago. Many say the pastor definitely knows President Trump. A lot of you think he showed up at more than one rally. The guy that you point to, I don't really think is Bob Joyce, wearing a hat, sunglasses, and a bigger beard. I don't think it's Pastor Bob Joyce. Number 26. This is a good one. There is no history of Pastor Bob that we can find with any foundation before 2010. I will gladly stand corrected if verifiable evidence comes forth. 2010 is when it is said he and Willena began a church in a friend's living room. That's how some churches start, you know. They start in a living room. The timeline the church has announced for Pastor Bob's ministry leads to so many questions. The church website says around 2010 and prior to organizing household of faith, Pastor Bob and Walina met with 7 to 8 people, including John Cook, very important man in Pastor's life, who now I think is retired to Little Rock. John Cook and his wife, Marta, they met in a living room. Now, when churches start like that, it's going to take a year or so for them to find some kind of building that they can rent, you know. But the church says it took to 2014. 2014. That's when they found a strip mall. They don't use the word strip mall, but it was a strip mall, a business rental, as they say. A business rental space became the first household of faith. Amazingly, and this is stunning, amazingly, it has been said on the church website, and Google says it, that Pastor Bob Joyce was ordained to the ministry in 1981. He has a CD, the first CD that has the name Bob Joyce on it, 1990. The only thing is the picture on the album looks like it's a lot more current than 1990. Another amazing fact. You know, when I began in radio, well, I started off going to broadcasting school in Hartford, Connecticut, the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. And I got my degree, and I was kind of comfortable in what I was doing at that time and knew I was going to do radio, but I was a little intimidated to start, nervous to start, and a little lazy maybe. And I didn't start my first radio job till 1977. I arrived in Dunkirk, New York, the day that the radio said Elvis Presley had died. I was in shock. My new landlord that I had met out in California online for the Merv Griffin show, he didn't seem too fazed by it, but I said, it's a big thing. It's a big thing. So that was a long time. But if you are ordained in the ministry in 1981 and you don't start your first church to 30 years later, are we sinful, worldly people if we notice that? Are we just, we got our mind off of Christ because we're noticing that? That means that don't ever watch another movie because your mind isn't on Christ. If you're watching some movie, maybe it's not even a good movie for you to be watching, or you're watching an episode of Seinfeld or whatever. You can take it to the extreme. And if it's a story that people are noticing, is it really fair to say you're a bad person if you notice these things? Well, people all around the world notice these things. That's why he has thousands and thousands and thousands of followers, and many of them come to the latest household of faith, which they have outgrown, also in Benton, with only about 125 seats in the sanctuary. Then they have an overflow room. They come from all over the world. Sometimes 11, 12 countries are represented. So it's getting very hard, and they're building a new temporary facility about 10 minutes from the current church. So it's very strange that there would be a 30-year gap. You have nothing to say that he did in ministry for 30 years after he was ordained. I think he was ordained online. That's what sources have indicated, but I don't know that for sure. And there's nothing wrong with that. Mike Winger was ordained, I believe, online. So it's just fascinating stuff. Number 25 in our top 50. We're only going to do 10 here on this part 3. Pastor Bob appears from numerous reports to go to Graceland on occasion. Grainy video appears to show him posing at the front door and standing there with the late Lisa Marie Presley. As terrible as that is, as terrible of a shot as that is, you kind of see Pastor Bob there, and you see the late Lisa Marie Presley, who now walks the streets of gold in heaven. God rest her soul. God give her peace. I don't like rest in peace. I hope she's having a good time in heaven. I really, really do. So there you go. There you go. There's no other story like this. You can talk about MJ and JFK. You can talk about Jim Morrison and Paul McCartney. I have 2 videos up on Paul McCartney, for example. I have other videos that you should check out. But there's no story with this much meat. This is enough meat to feed, the people that were at the wedding feast in the Bible, and we'd still have meat left over. So the thing about Graceland, though, is there's a gardener there. And he's got so many men that, some men look perfect for it. It wouldn't suit me. I couldn't even do it. Can't grow a beard. The gardener has the Kenny Rogers look. White hair, white beard, white mustache. People are saying to me all the time, I saw Bob Joyce raking the leaves at Graceland. No, you didn't. You saw the gardener. He doesn't look like him close up at all, but he's a fine-looking man, and that's what he does at Graceland, okay? Then I've heard who past gardeners may have been, but I'm not going there right now. Number 24. If you ask Google, this is so funny to me, does Bob Joyce have any children? Does Bob Joyce have any children? The response from Google is mind-blowing. It reads, Bob Joyce initially traveled under pseudonyms. What would he pick as a pseudonym? J.B., John Burroughs, something like that? Maybe. I don't know. Just saying. He originally traveled under pseudonyms for, I don't know, 40, 50 years? I don't know. That was, and this blew my mind that they put this in there, until DNA testing. Oh, so many people say to me, if we could just get DNA testing, that would settle it all, and you could stop talking about this DNA testing. Like I can get Elvis DNA and Pastor Bob Joyce DNA. Elvis DNA is going to be really hard for me, until DNA testing, this is Google, confirmed his identity. They say a little more that alludes to that, so hold on tight. Speculation suggests he may have fathered 2 sons. 2 sons. Later in life, this really makes no sense, the response. One known as Matt, an impersonator, in Arkansas, while the other, I love this one, it's written Michelle, but it would be Michael. Michael Skotnick. I think they mean Michael Skotnick from France. Oh, I got to know him real well when in 2018 I started doing the Bob Joyce topic. I heard from Michael real quick. He had some beautiful videos up, but he didn't do what I was going to do. He had highly edited videos and images, which he did not own. You can't take images and show them and then they become your personal property. They're public images. And so he was not happy that I was on the block. I'm having a similar experience now in 2024. It's just part of the game, and that's okay. So Michael began to write to me, and with each letter, first he tried the nice approach to let me know that I should, probably take a 10 foot walk off an 8 foot pier, that kind of thing. Try to appeal to my sense of fairness, but I had a whole different plan. I wasn't going to do. He never appeared on camera, never told the story, and I thought there's a great chronological story to tell here, so that's what I want to do, right? And he wasn't happy at all, and I won't say what else, but the emails got wilder and wilder. He gave me a copyright challenge. I challenged back, and Google sided with us because there's a thing called fair use in the media, and there always has been. And you're not Satan. You're not a disgusting human being if you use clips, excerpts when you're telling a story. It's not fair to infer that we're a bunch of slime because we use excerpts in telling a story. Now, if you take someone's work and copy the whole thing and put your name on it, hey, I'm not going there, but I don't do that. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right. Unless you get permission from the person, him or herself. Then it's different. Some people want their work to be seen by others, and they say, well, more people are seeing it, so I guess I'm okay with that. Obviously, Pastor Bob's audience has been helped by the Elvis Bob Joyce programmers. That's just a fact. That's just a fact. We don't expect to get a thank you. When I began doing this topic in 2018, I said, I think in the first video, if the pastor has any problems with what I'm doing, with this video or all of what I've done or will do, all he has to do is let me know in a video call from Facebook, and I would take the videos down. I don't think I'm going to extend that, forever. I think we're done asking for that because he never contacted me that way. And I understood that. That's his right. Pastor Bob is not interested in contacting Elvis Bob Joyce programmers. He's not going to answer your email. They say it right there on the church site. He's not going to give you an exclusive interview. If he has something to say, it'll probably be somebody like, I don't know, well, as big as Tucker Carlson, let's say. Somebody like that. So this just gets weirder and weirder. Speculation suggests he may have fathered 2 sons later in life, one known as Matt, an impersonator in Arkansas, while the other, I guess maybe it's the exotic spelling for Michael Skotnik. Well, it's Skutnik in France. So that was really weird. Wouldn't it be something if the guy who was posing as Michael Skutnik didn't live in France at all, but lived, I don't know, somewhere in Arkansas or Tennessee, and was promoting this so that more people would hear the gospel of Jesus Christ through Pastor Bob. That's another wild theory in this very wild story. So other sons, well, I don't know. Tom Presley, he was said to be at Lisa Marie's private funeral. Could this be a young Tom Presley? Could this be a young Tom Presley? I don't know that. Tom Presley, that's him. Did Elvis somehow encounter Dennis Quaid's mom? I don't know, but that's Tom Presley, who is said to be someone who sang at Lisa Marie's private funeral. We're getting to that. But I like how they finish this. And by the way, there's Elvis Presley Jr. He says he is Elvis's son, and there's others claiming it. Sometimes those others have been, it's been debunked. It's been debunked. But they talk about Michael, I think they mean Skutnik in France. And they had a significant presence on the internet related to Elvis. Number 23, Google also says that Bob Joyce was said to have attended Lisa Marie's private funeral, not the public memorial. He preached opposite the public memorial. He was not that lanky, tall guy with the white hair and white beard that helped Priscilla on or off the stage. Anyone who showed up that had white hair and a beard, oh, there he is. No, he was opposite. He was in Benton, and that's something we'll talk about as we get into the top 20. Google also says Pastor Bob attended the private funeral. So not long after the private funeral that TMZ reported that it was going to happen and then dropped the story. They did not have cameras at the gate for it. In fact, I think they were a day off. They said it would happen on a Friday, but it really happened on a Saturday. Couldn't happen on a Sunday. Had to be a Saturday. And then I got the funeral card. I know you can't see it well. There are better versions you can find online. But the person who officiated it is Pastor Bob Joyce. This could be totally faked. This could easily be produced and be fake. But I got this and held it because I thought it was a bridge too far until other people started posting it. So I missed a chance probably at my biggest video ever by not posting this right away. That's another version of it right there. Another version of it. And there's more stuff related to the funeral and what happened at Household of Faith while they were having the public memorial that we'll do as the countdown winds up. And then I'm done with going over this stuff again unless it's brought up as a question or what have you. The other interesting thing Google says, still part of number 23, Pastor Bob was born February 21st, 1958. Now he's in his mid-60s. He's younger than me now. He's like the incredible shrinking Benjamin Button or whatever it is. You know, pretty soon he's going to be back in that leather costume in the round singing Heartbreak Hotel if it keeps up like this. We heard that Robert Wayne Joyce, his birthday would make him about 72 years old now in 2024. And he was married in 1975 to Alina Hattie, while Elvis Presley, of course, was still very busy being Elvis Presley. So another incredible tidbit. So number 22, we talked about the possible visits to Graceland, the grainy video, and there's been others that say that he was there on a Christmas Day. A few years ago, Pastor Bob did not hold a Christmas Day service when it fell on a Sunday. He did not hold it. He said it'd be a time to be with your families. So there are people that say that day he was at Graceland. I have no confirmation on that. But number 22, Pastor Bob Joyce appears to get into the back seat of a black SUV with tinted windows at Graceland. Sources who visited Household of Faith, there was a woman who wrote a long email to me, and she befriended a woman there, and a lot of chatter goes on, like, yeah, watch for signs. It's him. It's him. That has been told to various members of my audience, okay? Is that a bridge too far? I don't know. But she had some time, and she said, could we take a tour around the area? And she said, sure. And would you show me where he lives? And she was driven to a 2-story white house with a gate in front of it, but the gate was open. And sitting in the driveway of this 2-story house was a very similar looking black SUV. Black SUV. And finally, in our part 3 of the top 50 reasons why Bob Joyce may be Elvis, number 21, around 2011, Pastor Bob attended a nightclub appearance show with Matt Joyce, who is, I don't know if he does that anymore, he's very good, an Elvis impersonator. Matt called Daddy up to the stage. He wanted him to sing American Trilogy. Pastor Bob was sitting there, and he seemed more nervous than a Mormon on their honeymoon, scratching his ear, which somebody else, they say, used to do a lot, playing with his ear a lot because of ear trouble. And he kept trying to throw it back to Matt. He was so nervous he was forgetting lyrics to this song. But Matt definitely wanted the big finish to come from Daddy. So, and we have a video up on this, special moments. You can look through our list and you'll be able to find that one pretty easy in the title. And he threw it to Pastor Bob, and there was video being taken, and there was lots of flashing of the cameras. And Pastor Bob decided to go for it, and he had to go to full voice to finish, of course, American Trilogy. And for many of you, that was a defining moment for you. That was a defining moment. You made your final conclusion there. But I speak of possibilities. This is an entertainment story, and I may be wrong about the whole thing. Now, my personal email is jackthefairguy, F-A-I-R, jackthefairguy @gmail.com. You will notice a subscribe button. Please hit it if you haven't already. Like button if you liked anything here. Hit the notification bell. We do live shows often on Saturday nights at 10 p.m. East Coast time. That's Eastern Daylight Savings Time as I speak to you now. Getting dark at like, I don't know, 5 o'clock or so. We do worldwide ramblings, and sometimes we go 2.5 hours. We're having so much fun. We talk about Pastor Bob, but we talk about a lot of other things too. I have another series, Homage to Rush, a tribute to the greatest radio talk man of all times, Rush Limbaugh. There's 4 parts to that up. I have to say I'm pretty pleased with my work on that. I hope you will give that a chance. On these videos, you will see a thanks button. I'm a small fish in a very big pond, especially when I do political talk. You know, there's so many out there, but I have something I think that's worth hearing too in these amazing times that we live in. Amazing times. They just got a lot brighter this week on Tuesday, November the 5th. But if you could hit the thanks button for any amount, whether it be $1, $2, $5, $10 or more, somewhere I may have a super fan who's been watching me for a while, who's well-to-do. And I'm telling you, you know, this is with my limited pension. I was a peace officer for 19 years for the city of New York. I'm semi-retired now. I'm putting all my energy and focus in terms of working into trying to use the gifts God gave me to do this. And although I am always trying to make other topics successful, this is your favorite topic. This is the one I'm known for. This is the topic that you love talking about, you know? So that's how it is. Even my therapist said that. Well, if that's what they enjoy, if that's what they want to hear, you got to do it. So, but I'm trying to move on. I'm trying to move on. But anyway, if you are someone who has been entertained and found this informative, and maybe you're a good patriot who loves that we're talking about Rush Limbaugh and trying to give him honor and what have you, and talk about President Trump, et cetera, et cetera, and you can do a special gift on the Cash App. That would be wonderful. It would take a lot of stress off of me having to wonder, because every month it's like I'm trying to push a cart up a very steep hill. My horse has left me, and I'm pushing. I'm in the back pushing, and I would like to have some breathing room. The thing about Cash App, although I so much appreciate the thanks button, Cash App, I get all of what you give. And that's not true with the thanks button, but I'm very thankful for a worldwide voice, one that Pastor Bob has had here on YouTube since 2011. So my Cash App handle, all lowercase letters, is MediaGuy56. MediaGuy56. And I would so much appreciate that. I always like to thank the people who hit the tip jar, because that's what it is. It's a tip jar. But if you want to remain anonymous, or just your first name or whatever, that's fine. That's fine. Some people do. So that's part 3 of our top 50 reasons why Bob Joyce may be Elvis. Or this could just be the biggest bunch of coincidences ever. I think we had some explosive information if you digest it here. I don't think that was clickbait. I think we did. And, well, we'll do the top 20 in the final installment here of this study. This is bringing it all together, because over the years as I've been doing this, there's more and more information all the time. And as I have said, the biggest contributor to new information is often the pastor himself. Gene Ho is not doing bad either. And we have been interviewed by Gene Ho. I have, and I have interviewed him. The video of me interviewing Gene Ho is up here as well. All right, I have taken enough of your time. Remember, Worldwide Rambling, Saturday night, 10 p.m. East Coast time, here at the Virtual Church of the Disillusioned. Check out our live shows. Check out our pre-recorded shows. We've got some good ones, and we want you to be part of our family. Thanks again.